So we're back with the highly requested buying guide videos. You guys like these, and they really do seem to be helpful for you. We have a line here today that I've really been kind of diving into myself. I went from having none of these a month or two ago to now having all of them, except for 2 discontinued rare ones. So we're basically going to go through the line. I've been testing and wearing all of these a lot. I have to admit, I've been enjoying myself wearing all of these, trying them out. They're all very wearable. They're all great fragrances. Now, there are technically 2 lines, but we're just going to combine everything. All fragrances from the brand are going to be in this video because there's the Narciso Rodriguez for him, there's the EDT and the EDP, and then there's the BLEU NOIR line where they have an EDT, an EDP, a PARFUM, all of that. We're kind of just going to go through everything here, starting off with their first release, the EDT, and going all the way through to the newest BLEU NOIR PARFUM. So we'll provide links to all of these down below to discounters so you can pick them up at a price below retail. A lot of these actually come in at a really good price, $50, $60 range for 100 milliliter, which is, again, a great price for these here. You get a lot of bang for your buck. Quality is great. Some are a little bit harder to find than others, but I think you can easily pick up most of these here that I talk about today. So we're going to start off with the original Narciso Rodriguez for him, and it's just the Eau de Toilette. Give us 4 notes rather. Violet leaf, musk, patchouli, and amber. A violet leaf heavy scent. It's fresh, it's ozonic, it's uplifting and bright. Oh, it smells fantastic. It has this nice clean woodiness underneath, this uplifting freshness. You know, the violet leaf really reminds you of a similar type used in Dior Fahrenheit, that sort of thing, or more so violet, not just violet leaf. So it kind of has almost a little bit of a petrol type of smell like you get from Fahrenheit. Now, the 2 are quite a bit different, but just to kind of describe the notes that you're getting here, there are some similarities in that front. Good dose of musk in here, making it very clean, very wearable. The patchouli is kind of giving off a little bit of an earthiness, a little bit of a green smell. Amber, kind of a touch of sweetness in the very far dry down. Overall, it's fresh, it's uplifting, it's masculine, and it's timeless. It's classic. It smells great. I actually don't know what year this one ended up coming out, but I mean, it doesn't smell dated at all. And this is the type of thing that'll work for years to come. It's actually really pleasant. And this is the type of fragrance that can be easily overlooked because it's just the EDT, right? It is just for him by Narciso Rodriguez. Easy to overlook, right? It's easy to get caught up in all of the flankers that are being put out these days, but this is a nice one to have for sure. Performance is decent, 6 hours or so on my skin, not winning any awards here, but really the smell and the quality makes up for maybe the mediocre performance. Next up, we have, for him, Eau de Parfum. So out of all of the bottles, just talking bottles here, this one has to be my favorite. Look at that. It almost has like a shimmer to it, this kind of brownish off-colored look to it on the inside. It makes it difficult, if not almost impossible, to see the juice level in there. But I mean, that looks cool. I don't know how well the camera is doing this justice here, but even on pictures, I'm like, that is a cool looking bottle. If everything else sucks, at least this looks very pleasing, at least to me. This one has musk, iris, so this one has musk, iris, and pink pepper. I believe that's the only 3 notes that they give us here for this one. So the addition of iris is a very cool thing to see. And I really like this one a lot as well. So you still get a little bit of that freshness, the spiciness, the heavy dose of musk that you get in the EDT, but with a little bit more of a depth, a richness, a sweetness, kind of like an extra layer of dimension here. You pick up on the iris, but it's a fresher variety of iris, so it doesn't get too lipsticky or makeup bag smelling or anything like that. It's a fresh floral here, really kind of also making it uplifting, even though it's an EDP, a little bit of a darker bottle, still uplifting and fresh, but at the same time, giving you a little bit more. If you want something that's kind of a step in the more unique direction over the EDT, this would be the way to go. Performance on my skin here is actually pretty good. It's better than the EDT, usually 7-8 hours on my skin. It's a softer projector, same with most of these fragrances, so you're not looking at room fillers here, but longevity is decent at that. The EDP really does help with that. It wears like an Eau de Parfum, a little bit softer in projection, but really good longevity. Hangs around for a good while, especially if you spray your clothing, spray your hair, that sort of thing. You can really get some good performance out of this one. It's a fragrance that these days, most people just won't be wearing at all. Really kind of honestly with all of these here, they're kind of more so talked about in the community to some small extent. People are just going to be going for the Bleu de Chanels and all the blues and the aquatics, that sort of thing. This type of stuff is going to be overlooked. So if you want to stand out and smell different, go for something like this. All right, now let's go over to the BLEU Noir line. So I need to find the EDT. Okay, here it is. So we've got, for him, BLEU Noir Eau de Toilette. So there you go. Kind of signifying a new line here. So we've got cardamom, vetiver, musk, and cedarwood. Very woods heavy. Woods, spicy, kind of a trend, you know. But with this one here, you don't get that violet, you don't get that, you know, overdose of freshness like you do, for example, the first one we covered here, just BLEU Noir EDT. You don't get that type of thing. It's more woods focused. You know, a lot of the BLEU Noir is going to be focused on vetiver. Now, you know, it's easy, especially in this day and age, to see BLEU Noir and think blue fragrance ambroxan. None of these in here are blue ambroxan fragrances, even though you might assume that based off the name. Wanted to make that clear right now, so if you're not after that, then you're in the right place here. Vetiver. Really, for all of these going forward, you got to be a fan of vetiver to get along with them to, you know, different extents here, and we'll kind of go over that. Good amount of it here. It's a fresh, clean vetiver, not too earthy, not too smoky, you know, it's very wearable. This would be a perfect work scent, perfect office scent, a school scent, whatever. It kind of gives off this classiness, you know. To me, it kind of wears similar to something like you know, your typical Tom Ford gray vetiver or any other clean vetiver fragrance that just smells like the pinnacle of a work fragrance. That is this one. Performance is kind of on par with most everything here. It's going to be about 6 hours or so longevity for an EDT, not winning any awards, but not terrible. So let's go over to the Eau de Toilette Extreme version here. Forgot that this was in here. So here it is, frosted glass bottle, BLEU Noir Eau de Toilette Extreme. This one is going to be the freshest out of all of these here, pretty much. Citruses, musk, cedarwood, basil, and ice. Got to throw in that ice note, right? This one smells very nice. You know, it's going to be kind of the lightest on the woods, more focusing on citrus, some aromatics, you know, a little bit of an herbal basil touch in here. My girlfriend actually really likes this one. I believe she chose this for, what was it, her 10 spring fragrances that she would choose or something like that, that she wanted me to wear. She had my entire collection to go through, and she picked out the Eau de Toilette Extreme version of this one, which shocked me. You know, not to say that this is not a people pleaser, it definitely is, but I've got a lot of stuff. And so the fact that this made the cut with a collection like mine is pretty cool to see. You know, I think this one would be a great compliment getter for a lot of you guys out there. And if you want to play it ultra safe, this is probably the one you want to go with. Also, probably the best for summertime as well. A few other of these will work. Narciso Rodriguez, just for him, EDT, the first one we covered, also a great one for summer. But this one is freshness to the max. Longevity, kind of going to be similar, 5-6 hours, somewhere around in there. Not the best, not the worst. You know, again, for me, with a lot of these, the smell makes up for it. It's kind of like John Varvatos, although I will say these don't perform quite as bad as the John Varvatos as a whole, but the scent quality and the price really make up for the average performance on these. Okay, now let's go over to BLEU Noir Eau de Parfum. All these bottles look very similar. Here we go. So we're getting a deeper, richer glass here. It's getting, you know, kind of a blue gradient going on. Can't really see the juice level on this one at all either. But again, bottles look really cool. They all have some heft, some authority to them. Atomizers are good. Caps click into place, so that is nice. Another really nice one here. We've got musk, vetiver, cedarwood, ebony wood, and amber. Very woods heavy, very vetiver heavy. The vetiver in here is a little bit stronger than just the regular EDT, not talking Eau de Toilette Extreme, the kind of freshie of the line. I'm talking BLEU Noir EDT. Vetiver is a bit richer here in this one. So this is kind of going to be more for the guy who wants that heavier dose of vetiver. You know, it's kind of a step beyond your typical vetivers out there, gray vetiver, Roja Parfums vetiver, into a direction where it's a little bit more rich and smoky and a little bit more going on in the base here. Patchouli, all of that stuff kind of really coming through and ramping this one up. To me, it is a true eau de parfum. You know, it's playing on that original BLEU Noir EDT DNA, but it is making it stronger, which we'll talk about in a second, but also scent character-wise, it's getting bulked up as well. Performance here on this one for me is usually going to be around in that 7 to 8 hour range, so a little bit better here. I like eau de parfums. I prefer the higher concentrations. They just seem to work better across the board on me, but everyone's different. So it's a good performer here for what it's worth. Price is also pretty decent on this as well. Really nice one here if you kind of want to step above the other one. And to the last one already, that was pretty quick, wasn't too bad, right? This is BLEU Noir Parfum. This is the newest, just came out, I believe this year, earlier on. You can actually get this one already for a discount, a 100 ml bottle like this one for $64, which is a great deal. This is probably my favorite if I had to choose. Ooh, and they also upgrade the atomizer, I believe. That's gorgeous. So this one here brings back the iris. We've got iris, suede, sandalwood, and musk. It kind of takes on a little bit of like a Givenchy Gentleman EDP smell, but lighter and fresher because it has this cacao. It has, or at least this cacao chocolatey smell. I don't actually know if they listed that as a note, but you do pick up on it, kind of a chocolate smell. You do get the iris. Pressurized atomizer, they did upgrade that, at least it seems like. This is my favorite right here, man. Smells gorgeous, really, really nice. And it may sound redundant the way that I'm describing it, but I really don't think it is. You know, this could be a really nice spring and fall, summer evening scent. And Gentleman EDP, Valentino Uomo Intense, those types of things could work as well, but really they're kind of viewed as more wintertime. This one has more of a fresh balance than those others and still kind of pulling bits and pieces from those with that iris chocolatey smell. And it works really nice. Now, this one can be a little bit confusing because it does drift pretty far from the EDT and EDP. Even though it is a parfum, you would think it would just be playing on that DNA. They're really kind of throwing a curveball here with this one. So something to keep in mind. Maybe you want that, maybe you don't. You got to be more into the iris and kind of the dusty, chocolatey, sweet stuff to some extent here to get along with this one. But if you're into that type of thing, I think a lot of you guys will really like this one. Now, it is a parfum concentration here, and it wears like one on my skin. Really does well. Longevity for me is usually going to be upper of 8 hours or so, 8 to 9, depending on just the day, whatever weather conditions. Also, you know, a little bit warmer weather helps this one out for sure. And that's kind of when I want to wear it. I wouldn't wear this in the winter time. I've got plenty of winter fragrances. To me, this would really be the great, perfect spring summer date night scent. Now, during the day when it's, you know, July or something, raging summer, wouldn't be my first choice, but evening when the sun is down and the air temperature, of course, drops, the humidity drops a little bit, you're going out, you want something a little bit kind of sexy and a little bit sweet, you know, date night appropriate. This here would be one of my top choices. This is a very nice one. And like I've said about 10 times by now, this is my favorite without question. It's really good. I want to do this real quick. Here's the EDT. Okay. It's going to bother me if I don't do this. Well, maybe they are the same. Maybe I'm losing my mind. It felt like this one was more pressurized, but I could be wrong. I think they actually might be the exact same. Who knows? So we're to that point in the video where I go over my favorites. This is another one where I like all of them. Now, it's not, you know, normal for most people to own a whole entire line of fragrances if you're just kind of having a small little collection, or it's just not necessary, I guess I should say. So if I had to go over what I think you should buy, honestly, it's tough. It really is tough. But, you know, it's hard for me to beat the EDT. Bare bones, just for him EDT. I really like it. The new Parfum I also really like. It's going to be more situational though for you. It's going to be more people specific. You got to be into the iris a little bit. So that is in there if you like it. If you're not into the iris, I would recommend something like, you know, for him, BLEU Noir EDT. That's a great one. You know, if you want kind of a play on the just for him DNA, the EDP is good. They're all good. It's kind of going to be up to you to go through and decide what you want. If you want vetiver, I would choose either BLEU NOIR for him, EDT or EDP. If you don't want vetiver, then you've got a couple other options like I've gone over. If you want the most mask pleasing out of all of them, it would be Eau de Toilette Extreme. Citrusy, probably the best for summertime. Great stuff here. Alrighty guys, that's going to do it for me. Thank you so much for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll see you tomorrow with another one. Take care.